good afternoon, good evening, or at any time y'all are listening to this video, to this audio, watching this video. Hold on. That looks okay. It's a little too high. There we go. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Down in the Valley podcast. My name is Edson Ochoa, and guys, you guys don't know how much I've been waiting for this week to come. We are about a couple of days away from RGV FC's season opener against Las Vegas Lights. I'm not gonna lie. To me, the offseason felt like it dragged on so much, you know. Fortunately, as we've talked about, you know, this whole season, this preseason has actually been there's been a lot of news that have been keeping us busy for a while, but now we are actually getting started to start the 2023 USL Championship season. How's everybody doing? I know I just saw Johnny in the chat. We've got Abraham Moreno, and yes, guys, full transparency. You know de que aquí se les habla las cosas como son. Full transparency. The club did give me this jersey, which is the new away jersey. So we will be talking a little bit later on about the jerseys. We've got a lot of news to talk about. But let me show you guys just real quick the jersey. And if you guys are listening to the audio podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts as well. Did I say Apple Podcasts twice? Anchor FM. Be sure to go and check out the live stream video on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/downinthevalley. So anyway, this is the authentic kit, right? So it's got, I don't know if you can see it, but the USL Championship patch is actually new for 2023. It's a little bit more condensed. It doesn't have the championship portion at the bottom of the patch. Obviously, they don't have the motto of the end racism. They don't have that. They don't have it anymore. So it's a little bit, like I said, it's a little bit more compact. We've got obviously the Toros badge stays being the holographic. You guys, if you guys have been following me for all these years, you guys know how much I love this patch. How much I love this crest, and I hope they never change it. This is actually a coral. Officially, it's called Fiery Coral by Puma, and it's got a design here on the sleeves. We've got, I guess you can say, you call it a pixelated black background, and these little green markings you see here. These are all arrows. These are all arrows pointing, I want to say they're pointing down this way, you know? So, but overall, I think it looks really, 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 really good. I think it's something completely different. I feel like RGV FC, they dared to go bold with something different. The last 2 years, it's been white kits. Last year's white kit, I loved it because it was a custom template. But we'll be talking about more about the pros and cons about the kit. If in case you're wondering, Jacob, my co-host Jacob Young isn't here yet, so he should be joining us in a little bit. That's why I'm kind of taking my time just real quick to talk a little bit about that jersey, showing you. So yes, hold on, let me lift this. Yes, Reliant is back. I know I'm not the best model out there, right? So forgive my lonjas. But yes, Reliant is back. It is actually screen printed once again on the jersey. In the back, you've also got Lone Star National Bank, also screen printed. But if you guys have probably noticed, let me get myself seated back down. But you guys have probably noticed there is no sponsor on the right sleeve. Last year it was what was it called? Texas Federal Wellness was the sponsor, And from what it looks like, TFC is not coming back for 2023 as a sponsor. The short is the Texas Vodka, or Live Oak Texas Vodka is coming back on the shorts. And but overall, I think the biggest difference has just been, the lack of Texas Federal Wellness as a sponsor for RGV FC Toros on the shirt. So the home kit, unfortunately, I really wanted the home kit, but that wasn't the one que me tocó. So, but this is actually pretty cool. Something different. I don't know what you guys are thinking. So Johnny says jersey looks good. Abraham says that jersey is straight fire. And says the two-tone looks really nice. Thanks. I am really glad you like it. Johnny says the jersey looks better than in the picture. Honestly, yeah. But here's the thing about the pictures that came out and in this particular example. So I talked about it in the Stampede chat, right? About the placement of the Reliant Energy logo on the kits. The placement on the pictures that came out on social media, as well as the press releases, has the Reliant sponsorship down lower, a little bit more towards the stomach. That really caught me off guard. It looks wrong. Honestly, like, to me, it's like one of those, that's like, I told the guys, like, I love the kit, but there's just one detail that I just don't like at all. And it was that, is the placement of the Reliant Energy logo. I'm not sure exactly why that is. Could be, I know I was mentioned that a lot of the USL kits had that similar placement. So kind of begs the question, and maybe it's a new guidelines by the USL Championship that they want the sponsor logos a little bit lower on the team's jerseys. We don't know exactly what's going on. Fortunately, like I said, this example has it in the regular spot, and it just looks a whole lot better. But yeah, so this is the away kit. This is actually I don't want to say it's a teamwork. Well, yeah, it's a teamwear kit because this isn't something custom made for RGVFC. This is something that you can pretty much buy off of the catalog. And obviously it's not going to have, the logos and all anything like that. But it is something that's kind of like available for teams to go in and buy. I really like it. It's just something different. The home kit as well, it's another teamwear. So the details about the home kit, it's blue. It's blue. It retains the classic, I guess you can already call it traditional color scheme of the blue shirt, the white shorts, and the blue socks. It is also ultra, what's it called? Ultra weave. There we go. It's also ultra weave like last season, right? But it has a design, and I'll go ahead and show you that. I forgot that I had that. So let's take a look. So as you can see right here, this is the home kit, and this is where you can see the placement that I'm telling you about of the Reliant logo, how it looks a lot lower than usual before. So how's it going, Ray? How's it going, Harry? Even Harry likes the kits. That's something I wasn't expecting him to say. But yeah, Harry, welcome back to another show. So this is the home kit, right? Like I said, this is ultra weave. I think I mentioned, because I actually made an article for Mente Futbolera about the kit. And but I think it's called the Team Final. I think it's called it's either Team Cup or Team Final. Okay. So the home kit is the Team Cup teamwear jersey. It is ultra weave, so it is going to be as thin and as lightweight as last year's home kit. Although this jersey looks a little bit more traditional when it comes to the collar, when it comes to the design of in and of itself. As you can see, it also contains a kind of like a modern graphic that is sublimated in the front of the jersey. The sides have a perforated panel that helps with breathability, and in the back you can see on the Cabrera with Andy Jr.'s back, you can see that it is plain Jane. There is no graphic in the back. Now, once again, Reliant is a monochrome white. The Lone Star logo actually has, the traditional colors, but unlike last season, this season it also adds the motto of the Valleys Bank into the logo. At least that's what you can see on the images that have been released by the club. So overall, I would say, you know what, maybe an 8. I would give the jersey an 8. I think in and of itself, I think it's an 8.5, right? But we'll talk about it later, exactly once Jacob gets here, exactly why I don't rate this higher. We will be talking about the fact that we have to remember that this is technically Puma's final year with RGV FC. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're currently in negotiations, for an extension, or maybe they're in negotiations with other kit makers for see what kind of offers they give the Toros. I know Meiba is actually hitting hard in the USL Championship. I know Las Vegas Lights has them, Oakland Roots has them, and they actually left Puma for Meiba. Meiba is I believe they're from Catalonia in Spain. So I think they're trying to get as many teams here in the USL Championship as possible. I mean, that could be a possibility. If they're trying to gain a market here in the United States. So Harry says, any thoughts of RGV going with Charlie like San Diego? Oh, I would love it. And I think I've said it before on the show. I would personally love if RGV goes with Charlie. And this is why. And I want to get everybody's thoughts in the chat as well. So why I like Charlie? Number one, because I know in Mexico, they tend to be a little bit more affordable compared to, or at least in the early years, they were more affordable than kits made by Adidas, Nike, or Puma. And I think number two is Charlie. If you guys have seen their kits at Liga MX, as well as San Diego's last year, they actually took the time to custom make jerseys tailored to San Diego, to Santos, to Xolos, to even, I don't know if you guys remember Club de Cuervos, that Netflix series. They became that fictitious club's official kit sponsor, and they made them custom designs specifically for that fictitious team. So they're dedicated to give every team their utmost attention that are under Charlie. Number three, Charlie is very active, or the brand is very active on social media, especially on Twitter. For example, if you guys follow Charlie Football on Twitter, you would notice that every time a team that wears Charlie gear, whether it's, like I said, Santos, the Liga MX All-Stars, even San Diego, what they do is like they share and kind of give updates on their scores on, what is going on. If maybe a player that has a sponsorship with Charlie scores or something, well, they give an update on there, and they are very interactive as well. So could you imagine how having a social media presence in Mexico like Charlie can do to expand the Toros in Mexico, in Monterrey, in Guadalajara, in Mexico City, etc., etc., etc. When San Diego released their kits last year with Charlie, there were a lot of tweets, or there were a lot of replies to Charlie's tweet where they actually presented the kit from Mexico, asking, one, when they played, where they can see the games, and number two, where they would be able to buy the San Diego Loyal jerseys. Can you imagine having something like that for RGV? That would grow the brand, or potentially grow the brand in Mexico, right? And you know that RGV's fan base here in the Valley tends to be Mexican American, right? So you would be hitting like your expected demographic, right? For the culture of the El Valle, for the culture of RGVFC. Obviously, as well, like I said, the customization. They take the time to create custom designs personalized for each team. Could you imagine what they would do for an RGVFC jersey? Would they add a tacuache? I don't know, kind of joking around, but they take the time to do that. So I don't know what you guys think. Personally, I think it would be an excellent idea. In any way, I think compared with Puma, yes, Puma does have a more international reputation compared to Charlie, but you will never see Puma give the attention to detail, the promotion to the USL, to the teams that are under the Puma brand at a global level, like maybe Charlie can do in Mexico. Now, let's be honest. Out of the 3 years that we have been with Puma, 6 out of the 7 kits that we've worn under Puma, home, away, and of course the Turtle third kit, only 1 was technically customized. And it turns out that this year, they recycled that design for San Antonio's third kit, right? So was it ever fully customized for RGVFC? No, right? Now the question is, would Puma or would Charlie be able to offer more money for RGV compared to Puma, compared to Adidas, compared to Nike, maybe compared to Maybach, as I mentioned before? I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing right there. So personally, I would like it. I would really like it. I don't know what you guys think. Johnny says Charlie makes great designs. Now, there were a lot of people throughout the years mentioning that the quality of the cloth of Charlie's designs wasn't that great. Now, I personally have a Charlie kit of Club de Cuervos, the black one with the white and the red stripe. That kit, the Charlie logo here, after the washing multiple times, started to peel off, right? So, but that was a bunch of years ago since I bought that kit. It could be that in the last couple of years since, their quality has improved with the jerseys. So there's that. I think that's pretty much food for thought regarding to any potential kit makers that would be interested in signing RGVFC. At the end of the day, it's which company offers the most money for RGVFC. Because I can tell you that before Puma was announced, Charlie was a serious contender for the official kit maker or kit provider for RGVFC. We would have been the first U.S. team with Charlie. At the end, they decided to go with Puma. So we'll see how it goes. I think now that Charlie has kind of showcased their talents in the United States, we might see a couple of kind of teams follow suit. But yeah, that's pretty much my ramble about the kits. So if you guys, I think the kits, the Toros kits, the new ones, they're what, like the $90-some for the authentic. So I'm guessing it'll probably be like $80-some for the replica, which basically the only difference is the replicas would only have the Reliant sponsor up front, and neither the USL badge nor the Lone Star National Bank sponsor in the back would be in the replicas. It would only be on the authentic. So that's basically the only difference. It's not like, for example, Adidas, where the replicas are made with what is it called? Aero Ready technology, which is a little bit thicker, right? And the actual authentic jerseys are made with Heat Ready technology, which is a lot thinner, a lot lighter, etc., etc., etc. For RGV, it's basically the same kit. You just add the official USL badge, and you add the other sponsors. In the case of last year, it would add the Lone Star National Bank logo and the Texas Federal Health, or what I forgot what the sponsor was. I mentioned it a while ago, but you get the point, right? So anyway. As we continue to make time for Jacob to hop on. Oh, speaking of, Jacob has actually arrived. And it looks like he's wearing his brand new Portland Timbers jersey. So, well, we'll see what happens. But real quick, guys, if anybody has any questions before we actually start the show, go ahead and put it in the chat, and maybe we can ask some questions before we officially start this episode. Jacob, I see you decided to go with an MLS jersey today, huh? How's it going, man?
It's going great. Yeah, it's going good. Looking forward to all of this, and should be an interesting show.
All right, so let's go ahead and officially start this episode of the Down in the Valley podcast. We were just talking in the meantime about the new jerseys. I'll go ahead and end the show. We'll actually get your opinions through it. We got a lot of topics to talk about. So let's go ahead and get the show on the road. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or at any time you're listening to us. Welcome to another episode of the Down in the Valley podcast. My name is Edson Ochoa, and man, I am so happy to be here. We are days away from the home opener between RGV FC and Las Vegas Lights. We got a lot of news to talk about today. A huge shout out to everybody who joined us in the pre-show. So Jake, Harry, Abraham, and of course Johnny. And so we were talking real quick about the kits, because yeah, guys, I am wearing the new away kit that RGVFC announced today. As I mentioned, full transparency, this kit was gifted to me by the club, so obviously that is not going to affect any kind of talks about the team or anything like that. As you guys know, we say what needs to be said. whether it's positive or whether it's negative. So just putting that disclaimer out there. But yeah, it looks really nice. But before we swoon about this kit once again officially, let's go ahead and welcome our good friend and co-host Jacob Young. Jacob, how you doing?
Yeah, doing really good. Looking forward to chatting about what's coming up this week. Should be fun on Sunday, of course. Yeah, I know there's so much to talk about, like you said, new jerseys, not really new players, but just for some strange reason, I'm just gonna get it started with this. This season feels so much different than the past seasons. I don't know if it's because of us coming off from a high of making the playoffs for 2 straight years, or it's maybe the giveaway that's happening on Sunday, or I don't know, but this just feels different. I guess because we're coming in here knowing a lot about this team than coming into this week saying, oh my gosh, we never saw a minute of this team practice or play. And all of a sudden, these players are now officially hurt before the start of the season. We can't get green cards for these players. So I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm very, very, very excited for this weekend.
Well, don't miss that too much. But no, actually, I think you're pretty spot on. I think the difference has been, we talked about it ad nauseum in previous episodes of news and rumors, and of course the last episode of the Down in the Valley podcast, the live stream, which you can find. Is it? Oh yeah, over here. It's over here, somewhere around here. I'll put the card, but. We talk about the fact that RGV FC actually took the time during the preseason, early in the preseason, to give announcements of players that were coming back, and of course, eventually about players that were signed, and didn't wait until the end of preseason, maybe like 2 weeks before, to start making all these announcements. Meanwhile, us fans are like, what the hell is going on? Is this team going down? I feel like I'm going to go, flip a car right in front of HEB Park just to get their attention or something like that. No, it's like, I think whoever's in charge actually took time to understand how it feels to be a fan and did everything possible to, and I said it yesterday on the Striker Tejas podcast, which actually came out today. So, but I said that we know that Wilmer isn't one to be open about sharing these things with neither the media nor to the fans. So somebody had to get involved to be able to get Wilmer to open up, or maybe Wilmer had a change of heart this year. But at the end of the day, I think we as fans should be grateful, right? Yeah. Pero no quiten el dedo del renglón. Like keep on. Don't. How's the way I can put it? Don't let the finger, off it. Like oh, or start saying like, oh yes, like we should be like we shouldn't criticize anymore because I already did this. And they're like, no, this is something that is expected from a club. Like it's pretty much doing just a little bit above the bare minimum, right? Yep. There's still a lot of improvement. There's still a lot of improvements to be made. And you guys know, or you guys are seeing that they're listening to you all as fans. So be active and start mentioning what else you would like to see improved, and maybe if it gets to the right ears, you might see some changes. Yeah. They're a little bit open to that.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple of changes that still should be done. I mean, it's more closer to June for my thing, but other than that, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Of course it's I feel like it's every season, but this just feels different. And also, I'm making a bold statement right off the bat. Me, it's fourth place or bust. Fifth place or bust for us. Even if we make the playoffs, I expect how talented this team is, as long as we can stay healthy. That could change halfway through the season. Let's be real. But for the start, with all the players coming back, with the players that we have now, fourth place or bust, host a playoff match, or it's a bust because we want the improvement of potentially a top. I mean, crazy thing would be top 3. That's like I'd be over the moon if it was top 3, but I'd say 4th place and just to host.
And for me, I wouldn't just settle on, oh, can we make it, 4 or above. I think for me, as long as you make the playoffs at any order, but make it past the first round, at least equalize what you did in 2021.
Yeah.
Right. That way you can see some improvement, because at the end of the day, if you come out first, but you get eliminated right away, did you really improve in the overall scheme of things in the fight to going for the USL Championship Cup? That's just the way I see it. But you're right. There has been. I think it's a little bit more the atmosphere is a little bit more optimistic this year than in previous years. So anyway, real quick, I do want to take the time to kind of recap the signings that have been made since we last were on a live stream. So in between that time and now, and if you guys want to see more details, be sure to check out the last RGV FC news and rumors video that I posted. I want to say it was like 2-3 weeks ago. But check it out and you'll get more details. But just recapping real quick, Carlos Merancio, goalkeeper from XV Tucson, and Taylor Davila, midfielder from LA Galaxy 2, were signed to the Toros coming in for 2023, right? Carlos Merancio more than likely is going to be Tyler Derrick's backup. Just to kind of get ahead on myself, I did see, because media was invited to the matchup against Austin FC 2, and I really liked what I saw from Carlos Merancio. I think he's a really good in the 1v1s. He's a good shot stopper as well. He has leadership like Tyler Derrick. Like, he is very vocal as well, guiding the defenders. So there's not going to be much of a difference between in those characteristics between Tyler Derrick and Carlos Merancio. If you guys remember, Colin Miller, he tended to be a little bit more on the quieter side, right? And we talked about it. That was one of the biggest drop-offs whenever he was playing for us due to a Tyler Derrick injury. We mentioned that Tyler Derrick had leadership and he was very vocal, whereas Colin Miller he played well, but he wasn't much to guide and be loud, per se. So I think he's gonna be a really, really good backup. Taylor Davila, I saw some bits out of him as well. I think he looked really, really good. I want to say that these two are going to be players that are going to be fighting for a starting spot in the 2023 USL Championship season. Now, after those, you have the return of my biggest nightmare, Wilmer Cabrera Jr. Him and I have a past. Him and I have a past. If you guys been a long time fan of Down in the Valley, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about.
I'll come straight out and say it though. He's not a kid anymore. So it's as simple as that.
Jacob, you just got here and already shots fired.
Let's be honest. He's here now for a reason. He's gotten the taste. He had the taste of USL soccer under Gerson Echeverri. Mm-hmm. He had the taste under college soccer under Butler University.
Correct.
And now he is back more skilled than he was before. So expectations for him right off the bat will be much more. We'll be much more. We'll be higher. It's as simple as that. So he's not a kid anymore. He's had the experience in both. I expect when he's out playing, not right off the bat, of course, you take a couple of games to get acclimated. We'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of games at home, a couple of games on the road. But once that acclimation period is set, when he's out on the field, I expect him, not want him, I expect him to make even a small difference out on the field in a positive way. Not in that negative way that we saw a couple of players just get yellow cards and then instantly kind of the game is over, and that's what they did. Yes, I want him to be aggressive, but I also want him to be aggressive in the right possible ways. And if he has to make some tactical fouls, he makes some tactical fouls. But the point is, expectations are a little bit higher than when he came in before.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, back in, what was it, 2018? I mean, he was a young kid. He didn't have a lot of experience. He decided to go into college and get his development there. He ended up being all 4 years at Butler. He appeared in 69 matches for Butler University. He tallied 23 goals. Nice. Tallying 23 goals and 12 assists. So decent numbers. You can say you're talking about almost 8 goals per year and 3 assists per year. So, and after he finished his 4 years at Butler, he was actually drafted by Chicago Fire. He ends up signing instead with Real Cartagena in Colombia. And then, he's coming to RGV on a loan. So he's going to be back with his father. Well, actually, no. He's going to be back at RGV. This time, he's going to be coached by his father. Yeah. So that's going to be I think a lot of pressure for him. But like you said, Jacob, he's not a kid anymore. He's a full professional soccer player whose expectations are, when you get called, you have to show your talents. Doesn't matter if you're being coached by your father or you're being coached by a complete stranger, And yes, there are going to be criticisms against you, especially if you play horribly. 5 years ago, si me mame. I'm not gonna lie, si me mame. Right? I'm not gonna say exactly the phrase. Johnny said it in the chat. I'm not gonna say the phrase again, and I did mess up. I was actually wanting to apologize to him in person, but that was when I was in Houston. So he ended up leaving before I was able to come back. So I wasn't able to apologize in person for him for calling him that. But he did make him right after that show. His last games were a huge improvement over his beginning of the season. So the words hurt him, but he used it for a positive thing to improve. Yeah. Right? Yes, he was kind of pissed off at me. I wouldn't blame him. Right? But he showed that anger. He projected it in a positive way to make sure and prove me wrong that he was not what I called him, and that he was actually a decent player that was going to make an impact for RGV. But now this is 4 or 5 years later. You now have a lot more experience. You're now going back into a professional environment. So like you said, the expectation is the same or higher, especially now when you're probably end up going to have to be, our main striker if Frank Lopez isn't available, right? So the ability to score goals is going to fall on your feet, right? Yeah. And the last thing we need is to have another season like the beginning of last season where the team cannot find the back of the net because our attackers, our strikers, can't put the ball underneath the rainbow. Yeah. Right? So I'm pretty sure if there's anybody from the team, listening to this is like, oh, here we go again. He's talking out of his ass again. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, I'm no professional, but there are some expectations. It's like me at work, right? There's expectations for me, whether it's have my projects in on time, be able to be as mistake free as possible. I remember when I was at Reynolds and Reynolds, but it was like you had a I had a deadline to meet. I had certain standards I had to keep when it came to my code. The whenever I turned in a project, I had the expectation that when it went to quality assurance, to limit the amount of times that the project had to return to fix, an issue or a bug that QA would identify, because that would mean that I wasn't really paying attention on all the different, factors or outcomes that somebody, the user would eventually think of doing. Maybe it might be something common sense says, oh, they would never do it. But you know how people are. They'll find a way that they accidentally break the system because they did something that I would have never thought that they would actually do while using the program. So you have to you have the expectations to think outside the box, right? And if I didn't meet those expectations, well, obviously I was going to get chewed out by my manager. I was going to get chewed out by my supervisor. Eventually it continued where it had low quality, but I was going to get fired, right? Same with any job. And I think as a professional soccer player, it's no exception, except that the difference is that you have external forces, meaning the media, meaning us, that are also looking at what you're doing. We are not your supervisor. We are not your coach. We're not paying your bills. But yet here we are talking at the comfort of our seats saying, oh, he did this wrong, yada, yada, yada. Right. So professional soccer players, I think, need to have a cool head to be able to take those criticisms. Yes, you're going to get mad. You're human. Right. But use it in a positive manner. Don't be like that time Rodrigo Lopez, put roll eye emojis on Twitter just because I said what the hell he was doing in that free kick at a South Texas derby. That it ended up that he wasted 3 minutes. It ended up being nothing. They ended up losing the ball real quick, and we ended up losing at home at HEB Park. I tweet, what the hell is he doing? I didn't even add him. He just found my tweet and he just replied with roll eye emojis, right? So
and then 2 years later, he showed us up when we played against him on the road back in Sacramento, and he decided, you know what? Inches apart isn't going to do much of a difference when you defend me. And then he headed in the back of the net for a goal that ended up drawing them. Instead of us getting 3 points, we lost 2 points from that. And ended up being the difference maker of 6th place instead of 5th place or something crazy like that. I think that was one game that really made the difference of us having a 5th place instead of a 6th place.
Oh yeah, I remember. Standings. Yeah, I remember. So, I remember that match. So Abraham Moreno says, "I'll tell you this. No one is going to care. He's the coach's son. Care about what? Be a little bit more specific, because my answer is going to depend on what you're talking about, right? But yeah. So Wilmer Jr. is going to be back. Obviously, we're going to receive him with wide open arms, because any kind of help is going to be of help. If he plays like he played at Butler, if he uses the experience he gained at Butler and continues to develop at the professional level, he might be a good asset as a striker, or at least as a forward, once he gains the chemistry with the rest of the team. But yeah. As far as he says, Abraham Moreno says, as far as taking it easy on him.
Yeah. Again, I give him 2 games at home and 2 games on the road buffer. So 4 games in total for a buffer before we really see what he is acclimated from down here. I mean, it's going to take him time to get used to the Valley again, because he went to Butler. That's Indiana. So that's not very pleasant winters. It's not very pleasant falls. I have a cousin who is up there right now living there, and he can vouch for that. But yeah.
It's not like we're just going to be picky on him. I mean, the same thing's
Yeah,
going to be for everybody in the
it
squad.
really is. Yeah, even for Tyler Derrick coming back from a concussion, that's going to be one thing to keep an eye on. Can he stay away from injury this season? I know he's a fantastic goalkeeper, a fantastic leader, but he took some nasty shots last season,
Oh yeah.
and of course the final one where apparently, I mean we'll go back to this, but apparently for a keeper who plays for RGV FC, we might not get calls when they get hit in the head. It's happened a couple of times. We actually got, I take that back, one time did it go our way for a head injury for RGVFC where a player got a red card because of that. So yeah, it can definitely go either way, but it's just me being a little salty because, well, come on,
Yeah, but
whoever, yeah,
to be fair,
it's just
in
yeah,
in that match, did we really make, did we really have
no,
the credentials or the, to say, oh, we had what it takes to win that match? No, we did not.
no, we didn't.
So,
But that's
but
the
still,
thing
it pisses you off that
of course,
even Colorado Springs Switchbacks fans come tell me, hey, you know what? That should have been a red card for Elvis and Mo. I can't
yeah,
believe he did that.
yeah, and then the admin decides that that's also the worst thing. Hey, how about you keep your mouth shut and be um unbiased on your social media accounts instead of telling people that wasn't a red card. You are a social media account supposed to be respectful around the league, and you do a stupid thing by saying that. Dude, last time I checked, yes, you're paid by the club. The last time I checked, there are still rules that you have to follow from the US freaking L.
and
That's
you
that that's no, but
And you
yeah,
know what? We talk about RGVFC social media, how they're not very interactive at all. But you can't go into that extreme
no.
where you're pretty much a fan with access to the social media. As you mentioned, the USL has guidelines on how you're supposed on the proper apport that the social media manager must have whenever tweeting out, whenever interacting. I mean, you can do memes. I mean, you see, like I said, you can take the criticism, yeah, and you can kind of make it funny, make memes about it or anything like that. But once you go into the territory of being disrespectful and start instigating some sort of verbal violence on RGVSC fans or on San Antonio fans in the next round, when you start complaining about San Antonio for something that you did against RGV, you get called out. Now all of a sudden you get all in defensive mode and start, talking crap like a drunken fan, you know. That's not how you're supposed to be at all. But anyway, we're kind of getting off track. Anyway, so yeah, we talked about Wilmer Jr. So next bit of news, and I really would like to get your thoughts on this, Jacob, because we haven't even talked about this, not even in the group chat. So Hondo Candelaria announced as new Golden Grape Entertainment president. Candelaria will oversee operations and revenue generation for Golden Grape Entertainment and all of its entities, which include Brogdon Arena, HEB Park, RGVFC, Golden Grape Concessions, DHR Sports Plus Wellness Center, and RGV Pro Sports. Candelaria has been part of the Golden Grape Entertainment and RGVFC organizations in different capacities for 10 years. Most recently, as Golden Grape Entertainment Vice President of Sports and Entertainment in 2021. This information was straight out of the press release. But Jacob, what are your thoughts on the hiring of Hondo Candelaria as RGVFC / Golden Grape Entertainment president?
Oh, I just realized who he was. Sometimes, it's better for me to put a face to that name, but I just remembered who Hondo is. Oh my gosh, I think that's a fantastic signing, in my opinion. I think he just 100% deserves a promotion, and that's a big promotion for him. Basically, I think it can work. It's going to be a lot of pressure though for this man, but I think he can take on this pressure. It's going to be change. He knows the soccer aspect of it well. He knows the basketball aspect of it well, of course, and then there's other other things there. But for the most part, you focus on two of your main entities at the two main places. And that is right now soccer, and that is right now basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, as long as everything can still be on an upward trajectory, there's no reason to get all scared that this is going to be a bad hire or a bad promotion. So I think as long as Hondo keeps doing what he's done in the past and just obviously takes a step up, then we should be fine.
Now, if you guys haven't seen the video by Ray of Celtics Border Sports, the 3 questions regarding RGVFC that I recorded with him last Sunday at Media Day, one of the questions was about Hondo. And as I mentioned, and my opinion was, as a soccer fan and as a fan of the Toros, I wanted to have a soccer-specific president, someone that would specifically cover RGVFC, and that's it. Someone that would take on the soccer business operations of the Toros, right? But the position, as you're well aware, isn't just for RGV FC. It's for the arena. It's for the stadium. It's for all these entities that I just mentioned, right? So he's in charge of bringing in events to the arena, to bring in Tigres del Norte, to bring in what was it? Was it Judas Priest as well that came in, and then these other rock bands. So bringing all these events to the arena, to the stadium. That's what he's in charge of, right? So when it comes to the requirements of the position, Hondo is a good fit. He's from the Rio Grande Valley. He knows the culture. He's been not only of the area, but also the organization. So there's not going to be a period of adaptation. The question is going to be, can he be a president that listens to the fans? Like Johnny Reese just mentioned right now, there have been no season ticket member events, no promotion of the team. And we've been very vocal about that. Will Hondo, now that he's got the title of president, because keep in mind, he was vice president, but since Ron Patel left, he was pretty much doing the job of president without having the title of official title of president, right? So now that he's got the official title, will he be able to take on these challenges of all the things that need to be improved on the front office side for RGVFC to be successful? That is going to be what we're going to be grading his performance on. We've seen some improvements, and I can't get tired of me saying this. We've seen some improvements, yes, but there's still a lot of improvement that could be done to make this team successful, not only in the Valley, but also in the USL Championship in general.
Yeah. And I completely forgot that he was basically already doing the president without having that title behind him, which is true. And I think now that he has that title officially, I think we might see a lot more come out of this. Again, to me, this is the first time that I've really seen an improvement of right off the bat for a season opener. Having an impressive first 1,000 fans get a free something. And this time it looks like a pretty good, well done bucket hat. Why I bring that up? I'm pretty sure Hondo had something to do with that. Of course, marketing being behind it, that's a different thing. But if he really works with marketing in general, and if he's working with how basically the Vipers giveaways have been this season too, that's a great start to get the fans interacting. And then of course we've also seen social media. I know we talked about it before, but social media had been more vocal with their 12 days of Christmas, 12 days of all of that. And
12 days
again,
of Toros.
like 12 days of Toros, but who do they most likely have to report to? probably their director. Who does that director have to report to? That would be
Hmm.
Hondo. So it just seems like he has already been able to start what he's doing. And I want to put more. Um, I want to say that he has done already more than we have possibly seen behind the scenes. But of course, yes, we do want to see more stuff like a why didn't we have a party for the jersey reveal and all that stuff, which is true. But again, he was not officially that guy yet. He was not officially all of this. So I think now that he is president of all of this, the Viper season is slowly but surely coming to an end. So he will only have to focus on maybe making a couple of concerts, but even then, there's already a lot of concerts stacked up at that place, or a lot of events stacked up at that place after Viper season. So he really doesn't have to worry too much about that. So we go over, and he'll most likely focus more on the Toros after that. So it might take a little bit of time, but it's always difficult for somebody just to get almost thrown right back in to the deep end saying, okay, yeah, no, now you're officially in charge, and now you're finally earning that salary and all that other stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. There's the whole issue of how much of a budget is Alonso Cantu going to give him for starters. That in and of itself is going to be a limiter of what they can and cannot do, right? But as a fan, I mean, we still have to kind of raise our voice and say, hey, you know what? We don't feel valued as a season ticket member. We don't feel valued as a fan. You know, we need to improve this, because what's going to happen if season ticket members get frustrated? They're not going to renew season tickets. They're not going to go to games, because at least with season tickets, you even if they don't go to a game or two games, you already have all that money that they spend on the season ticket. That's already on your bank, right? But if they don't buy a season ticket and they go on a game by game basis and they get frustrated, well, if they miss 5, that's 5 tickets that the revenue that they're not getting, right? So they would be losing out on money. At the end of the day, it's money, right? So there's the phrase, it's very cliched. Yes, sometimes it might not be 100% like economically feasible. Yes, but there's the term, or there's the phrase, you got to spend money to make money, right? And I think RGVFC in some areas really need to spend the money if they want to make money, if they want to attract fans to go into that stadium. Hondo needs to realize that. Everybody in the front office may need to realize that. Alonso Cantu is going to have to realize that. Yeah, he might be losing a lot of money, but I mean, if you're going to keep the team, you at least got to try and make your fans happy. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, it's just going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, I'm losing money. Yes. You don't do the stuff you need to do. I'm losing even more money because now the fans aren't going into the stadium, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I'm not a billionaire, so I can't tell Alonso Cantu how he spends his money, because he clearly knows more about how to make money and millions than I do. But as a fan, we have to feel valued as well. That's part of the soccer culture, to feel value as a fan. Otherwise, people might just stop caring about the Toros, or at worse, they might jump ship to another fan base. I mean, with San Antonio just winning the championship, it'll be easy for a lot of fans, even from the Rio Grande Valley, to say, you know what, screw the Toros. I'm going to be a San Antonio FC fan, because at least they're doing things right. At least they're winning championships, right? So it is what it is. Those are the challenges that Hondo has to go up against. But hopefully he's able to make the correct decisions to alleviate these situations. So I know I had a question by Code Awesome. He says, how did the team do this preseason? You expect to see good results off the bat, or do they need a lot of work to play together? So first part of that question, they were actually undefeated in preseason. They defeated, I think it was a 5-1. Houston Dynamo 2. They tied against Houston Christian University 0-0. I did hear that game was actually played by bench players and reserves. And then they won 1-0 against Texas A&M International, if I'm not mistaken. They defeated Austin FC 2-1 here. I was able to see that match. I'm assuming there was some improvements between the start and now. I don't really want to go into much details about tactics and all as well, because there could still be a lot of changes between then and now. I think the biggest indicator is going to be what Wilmer Cabrera, what starting 11 he decides to use against Las Vegas Lights, because from what I heard was that the competition has been so fierce that it's one of those problems that a lot of coaches would love to have, which is everybody's so good, I don't know who to put in the starting 11 kind of thing. Or at least in his eyes, what he wants to, his vision on what tactically he wants to see, right? So those are just my observations. Unfortunately, like I said, most of the preseason games were closed for fans and for media until the Austin FC 2 match, which was open for the media. So I kind of got to get a little glimpse of it, but obviously it's not enough. It's not enough evidence for me to tell you for sure this is the direction the team is gonna go. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. Let's see, what else did he ask? Do I expect to get good results off the bat? Well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but that was asked to Wilmer and to Jonathan Ricketts and Media Day. Excuse me. And both of them agreed that RGVFC needs to get results off the bat, especially since the first 3 games are going to be at home. He says, Wilmer said, we have to be more consistent in our results if we want to make the playoffs, because their goal is to make the playoffs as early as possible and not have to rely on how we've done in the past 2 years on waiting until the very end when the pressure is on, when you're on the brink of being eliminated.
Yeah.
To be able to get the ticket into the USL Championship playoffs, right? So that's their idea. They're going into the mentality of, yes, it's the beginning of the season, but we can't use that as an excuse.
No.
And not get positive results, especially when all 3 games are going to be here at home.
Yeah, that's the thing. But the way that they look, I bring it as easy as this. It is preseason. Throw all of what you saw away in the trash can. Because, that's only for them to get acclimated with each other, everybody on the field. That has nothing to do with the results. It has everything to do with what does Wilmer Cabrera want to do with the tactics. What did he want to try out in those 3 to 4 games? That's it. That's literally what preseason is all about. If you think it is anything more, and especially for wins, then you're just like an NFL football fan thinking that preseason is everything. And if you lose all the games, the season's already done. No, that's not even remotely true. Point is, moving on from that, though, like you said, bringing up what Wilmer had to say, yes, they do need results right off the bat. They need 9 points. By far, those 3 games, 9 points. And again, the only stress that I want to see, and I'll bring it up again at the end of the season, is fighting for home field advantage. That's it. I want us to be clinched with the playoff, but I want us to be fighting for that spot. If we're like, 5th place, let's say we're 5th, the lowest that we can go is basically 6th, but we're in. And the highest that we can go is 3rd. With the last week, we have 2 games. Let's say that. And if we win both those games, we make it to 3rd place, given maybe one team has to lose or draw. That's the only stress that I want at the end of the season. Let me tell you that much. Even into the final month, it's that same deal. So I'm with the players. I'm with Jonathan Ricketts. I'm with Wilmer Cabrera. I'm with everybody who you will talk to. We just need to clinch as fast as possible and with the least stress as possible, and possibly just getting that home field advantage, because we also want to most likely meet up with San Antonio FC in this final, this Western Conference final to see who advances to the finals. Even though, let me put it this way: most likely now San Antonio FC will not even make the playoffs and have that hangover. But that's just with years before, with OCSC being last place, with the other teams that end up winning being pretty far down the order afterwards, like Phoenix Rising. Phoenix Rising had won not too long ago. Where were they? Not making the playoffs for almost 2 straight years.
So shots fired towards Harry.
It's true.
But going back to your statement about preseason wins and preseason results, basically, I think the biggest example or the best example to date about why that's the case, last preseason, San Antonio FC.
Yep.
I know you guys hate San Antonio FC, guys.
But it's true.
But it's the best example. Mm-hmm. In preseason, San Antonio FC lost, 7-1. Harry, if you're there, correct me if I'm wrong. They lost 7-1 to El Paso Locomotive in preseason. People in San Antonio started to lose their shit and saying then, oh, we're doomed, yada, 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 based off one preseason result. What ended up happening? El Paso didn't make the playoffs. San Antonio wins the USL Championship. So preseason matches aren't a tell-all of what's going to be the direction or what's going to happen in the preseason, in the regular season. Preseason are games to kind of get your legs loose, try out different tactics based on different scenarios, right? Try out new players, like especially academy players, see which academy players are ready to go into the first team and get signed. That's basically what preseason is. It's a coach, to put it in IT terms, it's a coach's sandbox server. It's games where you can experiment as much as you want because you know that those results aren't really going to affect you in points. You can do stuff that you can't do in the regular season because you've got points on the line or you've got an elimination on the line when it comes to Open Cup, right? So don't take preseason results too seriously. That's all we're saying. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I keep going back to it. We'll see what happens on Sunday. That's going to be a clear indication of what we can expect for the season for RGVSC. So I want to go ahead and welcome DJK. I don't think I've ever seen him on the chat before. He probably might have been lurking in previous live streams, but I haven't seen him. So welcome DJK to the Down in the Valley community. We're excited to have you here and hope you learn more about the Toros with all of us as fans. We're here to help grow the Toros community in the Rio Grande Valley and beyond. So he says, hi guys, I'm excited for this season, but I wish we can know the starting 11. Like I said, I mean, the only thing I can say is don't be surprised if Wilmer continues to use the 4-3-3. It was his formation of choice last season. And because most of that foundation came back this season, I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to use that formation. Players specifically, I can't tell you. I don't know who's going to be a starting 11, but yeah, we'll see on Sunday.
I think we can basically guess one player for sure, almost for certain actually, would be in the starting 11.
Okay.
Who would you think would be between the pipes?
Tyler Derrick.
There you go.
If he's not injured.
If he's not injured, he's most likely between the pipes. And that will basically start off. Outfield players, it's a complete guess. But we'll probably see a couple of vets. And then it's a guess from there. I would have to say so. And even then, that might not even be the case. He might start off with a lot of rookies too. So yeah, it's a lot of guesswork. And no one truly knows any starting 11 until an hour before kickoff, whether or not it is pros, USL, we're talking college. I myself, for my games that I cover, don't even know the starting 11 until like 5 minutes before kickoff because they don't show up until they're on there. I have a roster of all the players, but they might not actually be on the field until that time. So it's true. You never truly know what the starting 11 is until you see the lineup.
How's it going? How's it going, Mike? Stampede Prez. He says, "My man, I missed you guys. Can't wait for Sunday. I can't wait for it either." He says, "I can't wait to see Pinzon and Ricky." And then Abraham says, "Dude, Edson, why jinx us?" I mean, hashtag Edson curse. But
It's
in
kind of
all
over.
but in all seriousness, I mean, the probability is always there. What happened last season? Or what happened last season? Ollie Wright was almost missed the whole season because of an injury in preseason.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so the probability is there,
Pretty there.
right?
Yeah. Pretty much there.
So anyway, moving on then. We were going to talk about the new kits. So Jacob, what were your thoughts on the new kits, real quick? Because I know we talked about it before you came in.
All right, new kits. I mean, I think even before I say what I think about the new kits, let's just see this one. Oh yeah, it's the Portland Timbers kit, as authentic as it can
Boo
be.
this man!
Adidas,
Boo!
and then the 3, and then of course the patches on the side. Here's why I bring that up. I think Adidas did a great job for the whole entire MLS league. Yeah, I'm kind of fanboying over MLS right now. I think they're doing a great job. USL think you might want to think about going to Apple TV and ditching ESPN Plus. Just saying. But that's for a different topic. As we continue on, though, yeah, when I saw the Toros kits, I wasn't too shocked with the home kit. Looks like the home kit that we've seen for a couple of years. And then the away kit, I'm seeing it on you. It's good. It's solid. I think it's as good as we can get with Puma. I think it's as good as every team can get with Puma that decide to do it. Again, I'm really liking the way that Adidas kits turned out this season, so I'm kind of biased on that. But
Hey,
it's fine.
I have a message from you from Mike, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna hate him after this.
Well,
And you're probably
Dynamo fan, so
and you're probably gonna burn that jersey after this. He says it looked like a Mexico jersey, Jacob.
When I saw it first as well, I didn't think it looked like a Mexico jersey. I'm seeing it now, and I don't think it looks like a Mexico jersey still. The one that looks like a
Denial
Mexico
is not
jersey,
just a river in Egypt.
the one that looks like a Mexico jersey is actually Seattle's. Besides Real Salt Lake, it's just red. Remember, Mexico hasn't used a real green jersey in like years.
That's true.
They've kind of ditched their green, which is dumb because again,
and you know why? Because of money.
Not red.
And you know why? Because of money.
Yeah, just like they play in the U.S. all the time because of money.
Because black shirts sell more. They're like, let's ditch the green and we'll start selling black jerseys as home kits. And it's like, yeah, you go against tradition in the sake of money. Now they're actually going back to using the green kit, but how long did it take them? But anyway, we're going off topic, man. We're going off topic. This is not Fútbol Américas. Anyway, so overall, what do you give the kits out of 10? The Toros kits.
Toros kits, I think the away kit, they went back to orange, which is a nice homage to their former club. And then for the away kit, or I mean the home kit, it feels like last year's, so I'd say basically the same, 7 out of 10, because they didn't really change anything, but they didn't have to. It's clean, it's nice, it looked good last year. Why not make it look good again this year? Now for this one, again, they try to do the El Sol, is what it just seems like to me. And it's orange. I thought we weren't supposed to use orange anymore, so that's a 6 out of 10 for me.
Well, to be fair, technically it's coral. Technically, it's coral. It's not really orange, but yeah, in certain lights, it does look orange.
It's like saying that the sun is yellow. I'm sorry.
Anyway, okay, so DJK says home kit, he gives it a 7.5 out of 10, and the away kit a 7. All right,
That's fair.
that's fair. I know I did say 8 point, for me, 8.5 taken into consideration is technically teamwork kits, but for, I guess, yeah, and I said an 8 overall, take it when you take that into consideration as something to dock points of. Now, saying that, before we move on to the next topic, such of quema o no quema ka, I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
This is the last year of Puma as the official kit provider for RGV FC,
Thank goodness.
according to the release. Has Puma done, but I think you pretty much asked the question, answered the question right there. Yeah. Have they done enough to warrant a renewal, or should they go look for other pastures?
Look for other pastures. Really, I just have not been that impressed with Puma throughout the whole entire time. Unless Puma can show up something beautiful for RGVFC to have this crazy, awesome home or away jersey next year, I don't see the reason to renew. Again, so many different textures from Adidas, so many different textures starting off again for Nike starting next year. Yes, we can go back to that whole entire conversation of, oh, the World Cup kits for the US were terrible, blah, blah, blah. Nike don't deserve to be on there. But let me show you some really great jerseys from Nike, even on the NWSL side, too. So it's just one of those things where, yes, I don't think it is enough for Puma.
I agree 100%. While at face value, Pumas, even their teamwork kits are decent, and honestly, their shoes are really comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, I found that a surprise. But let me continue. As I mentioned before the show officially started, before you got here, Puma, like Adidas, like Nike, like probably Umbro, or any other one of those big brands, they are not going to take their time to make something custom made for RGV, just like Puma did. Even if we go to Adidas, even if we go to Nike, we're going to be using teamwear kits that you can get out of the catalog, right? So you're not going to see something custom from them, right? Yeah. It was brought up in the chat, companies like Charlie Football in Mexico, or even Meiba, which is a company that has gotten a couple of USL teams starting this season, and they're making custom designs for them. And like I said, it's a company from Catalonia in Spain, right? So that's gonna be the whole issue. Even if we do leave Puma, because let's be honest, like I mentioned, 6 out of the 7 jerseys that Puma technically made for us were teamwear kits, were kits that you can get out of the catalog. The only custom design was last year's away kit, and they ended up recycling that design for San Antonio FC's new, I want to say it's their 3rd kit for this year. So was it really a custom design, right? Or we were just the first to use that template, So there's a whole situation. At the end, like I said before, and I'll post that rant as a separate video, but at the end of the day, it's all about money. Who's going to offer them money? Yeah. Would Charlie be able to do something that would benefit, I think, in all aspects for RGV? Or will they continue to go with the tried and true, companies like Adidas, Nike, maybe a renewal of Puma? I think the reason why Puma doesn't take the time like they do with San Antonio, let's be honest, the reputation of RGVFC at the USL level is down there. Yeah. San Antonio, at least, it's a team that has a lot more money, that has more reputation, overall. They just won the championship too, So all of that, it goes into consideration. You see this year's home kit. The home kit is technically, I mean, they added stripes to it, right? It's still a template design. It's still a template shirt, but they added the stripes for them, custom made, for the home kit. Last season's away kit, their Viva kit. Yeah, it was just a template, but they added, that little design, the little jock tag in the back. Their home kit. I mean, it's whatever, right? It's just a black kit, right? But at least you would see a little bit more custom designs. Like even Oakland got a custom design in their first year, right? Tampa Bay Rowdies as well. So those teams that have a higher reputation overall, Puma's going to take the time to make something custom for them, even if it's just one kit every year, right? RGV doesn't have that luxury, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Real quick, what I think needs to happen just in general for jerseys is USL needs to make a deal with one of these companies.
I completely disagree.
You say no, but then look at, again, what the MLS were able to do with Adidas, because they've been with Adidas for so long. That's the thing.
Yeah, but how many years have we seen fans complain that the designs suck for MLS teams, and that Adidas has been resting on its laurels because there is no competition? They keep on renewing with MLS for multi-year deals. So there's...
But again, you get on somebody's good graces, all of a sudden something is bound to happen like that, and it just takes some time. So I don't care who it is, to get a deal to just make teams stop to have to think about who's going to get who. Then all of a sudden, one company for each team will kill all of this, and yes, the competition will be gone. And yeah, we'll probably have some sucky jerseys, but at that same time, there's going to be years where the jerseys are just insane.
Okay. All right. It could be, but I think we've kind of we kind of settled on this a little bit too long on the kits. Anyway, so let's move on to the next segment real quick, which is Quema o no quema ka. It's going to be a long episode today, so forgive us. Okay, so remember, Quema no quema ka is a similar format to, if you guys are NASCAR fans, if you guys listen to the podcast, Door Bumper Clear, they have a segment called Spot On, Spot Off. Spot on, or in this case, quema ka, you agree with the statement. No quema ka, you disagree. So here's the first topic, okay? When asked about the difference between the keeping of the core players that came back this season and the players that were released before the 2022 season, because according to Wilmer, these players did not fit his long-term vision for the club, Cabrera declared on Media Day that these players did a good job throughout the season. They were improving their level, their commitment, and their mentality, and they wanted to stay here. At the end, the most important characteristic for us is who wants to stay here. Whoever wants to stay here, we're always going to open the door and the possibilities to keep them here. The ones that aren't here is because they wanted to leave. We're not going to hold anybody here by force. Quema o no quema ka?
Well, I proved it before. It is really true. We go back to the end of the 2021 season. Who could we have most likely gotten to stay or forced to stay? Rodrigo Lopez. That man wanted out as soon as possible because he did not like the weather down here. He loved California. Completely understandable. Who doesn't love the Pacific Northwest? Especially, it's Sacramento too. But who doesn't love California? And so I think it's perfectly reasonable for him to say that. I think he's spot on with, I don't think they're going to keep anybody here hostage. But part of it is, Wilmer, let me retract actually what I said, because I think it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of spot on and a little bit of spot off, because yes, we're not going to force people to stay here. But at that same time, if you're really, 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 really good, you're most likely going to be not only taken apart by other teams, but Wilmer's going to try to get you. So, yeah, I think some could potentially be forced to stay. But if also Wilmer doesn't see fit and the player wants to leave, that's a perfect combination of, okay, goodbye. We're not going to try to get you to stay.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, and especially a lot of these more veteran players, some of them have a kind of like of a diva attitude.
100%.
And when these players do not feel comfortable in where they're at, where they clearly point out that they don't want to be here, that they hate this place for X or Y reason, a lot of these players, they just, you know what, screw this. I'm not going to put my 100% here. I don't want to be here. They're forcing me to be here. I'm not going to give it 100%. If they're not going to help me in my career to somewhere I'm going to be comfortable, or they're going to be forcing me here because of X or Y reason, why should I dedicate my 100% to them? So a lot of these players have that attitude, right? Mm-hmm. And that's going to affect the team negative. That's going to sour the locker room. You start seeing all these instances where these players create cliques within the locker room, and they're like, you know what? Screw that guy. I'm not going to pass him the ball. Or he tells me something, I'm not going to listen, or I'm going to yell at him, and the locker room gets sour. The performance goes well, and like I said, one bad apple, destroys everything, right? Mm-hmm. So, in the sake of not keeping those kind of players, you want to get out. You want an opportunity in MLS. You want an opportunity at a better team. You don't feel comfortable because you feel like I'm not putting you in the correct position because of my tactics, or you're just not good enough. I'm not gonna force you here. You're more than welcome to go and find yourself some other pastures. That's gonna obviously that runs into your risk of losing really good players, but at the end of the day, what if they, como te digo, se conchan and be like, you know what, screw this. I'm not gonna give my 100%. There are some that are professional, but a lot of times they're not. So I think in that case for me, it's a spot on. I do feel though that he didn't completely answer my question, because I was going more of along the kind of the tactical aspect or the thing. Like for example, just the fact you've got players coming back. Yeah, Gringo Torres, he's relatively old. Eric Pimentel and Juan David Cabezas, who's relatively old as well. And obviously you've got the younger players like Ricketts, like Ricky, that are coming back that could be, viable for the future. I was not expecting him to kind of make that statement about like, we're not going to force people to stay. That wasn't where my question was heading at. So that's why I feel like, I don't feel 100. I feel spot off in the fact that he didn't fully answer my question, or at least the answer I was expecting. But then again, it's Wilmer Cabrera. He's never going to talk to you about his tactics or his vision tactically of this team. So what he said, I feel it's Kema, but overall he didn't fully answer my question in my eyes. So I'm kind of no Kemaka about that. So everybody in the chat, Kema or no Kemaka about that. Meanwhile, we're going on to the next topic. So Wilmer also mentioned that they have reduced their roster compared to 2022, but that he feels that this roster is more solid despite the lesser numbers. Quema o no quema?
I mean, listen, we went through more than half the season last year with a lot less players on the bench than we expected to have. So I think this year, potentially spot on. We don't need to, and I mean, this is gonna even be, I don't know. We don't need to carry around baggage that most likely won't play. Well, let's be clear about that. If we have a lot of bench warmers that don't end up playing, then why are they on this team? There's a reason why we had a couple of players leave at the end of the season because they wanted playing time and they didn't get playing time. So there was no reason for them to be here in the first place. And there's definitely a little bit of that, and that's why I'm kind of spot on with this. Is there's no reason now? Is our team completely stacked? I think the starting 11 is, and the players that we signed on the bench can still make a difference. So that's there's some good possibility on that. So that's why I'm spot on.
I'm spot off. No
Yeah.
que spot off. What? And this is why. Last year, we had issues at the beginning with a lot of injuries.
Yes.
Gringo Torres was out. Frank Lopez was kind of out. We had players that really weren't great. And so when it came time for midweek matches, especially in Open Cup, we struggled. We couldn't, our attackers didn't work. We ended up having to pretty much at times, what's the word I'm looking for? We had to improvise, you know? Now you're reducing the roster even more. So what's going to happen in Open Cup if, let's say, Tyler Derrick is out? Well, we got Carlos Merancio, right? So, well, let's say Christian Pinzon is out. Who are you going to put in there? Let's say Juan Galindres is out. Who are you going to put in there? And Frank Lopez is nursing an injury. Andy Jr., well, who's going to be his backup? What's going to happen? What happened against the Houston Dynamo? We didn't have the necessary roster depth, and Wilmer Cabrera didn't make a lot of substitutions until very late in the game, and you saw how tired our players were at the end of the match. Right? So that's why I'm spot off in their decision to kind of reduce the roster. Mm-hmm. Is it a payroll issue? The fact that they're trying to lower the expenditures of salaries? I mean, I guess that's what it could be. But to say that they're more solid, okay, yes, they could be more solid. But when you've got midweek matches, having more players on your roster can be beneficial if you're looking for a serious run at both tournaments. Mm-hmm. Now, we know it's very difficult for a USL team to win in the US Open Cup, especially because usually in the second round, we end up going against an MLS team. And if they put MLS two players on there, pues, I mean, but they're going against an MLS team. But I think in my eyes, like I said, I mean, we kind of cut it close last year, and we had more players. This year, I'm kind of scared about those midweek matches, how we're going to be able to fare without, completely taxing our players, both physical tiredness, fatigue, and mental fatigue as well. So that's the way I see it. I don't know what you guys think in the chat. How's it going, Eddie? Mike says last year was way too many players. I don't know if we're hurt or they just didn't work for Wilmer. Some of them didn't work for Wilmer. Yeah, that's basically. TJK in that aspect says he's 50-50. So I guess he kind of sees both sides. Mike says, or do we bring in some other players later? Abraham says he's also in between. In whether it's they're spot on or spot off about that. So that's a really good topic of discussion. Honestly, I didn't think it was gonna be that gray area. I thought it would be more black and white issue, but this is actually very interesting, seeing that people are kind of seeing both sides of the coin, and they can't really figure out which one is better. So I guess we give Wilmer Cabrera the benefit of the doubt. We'll see what happens. Oh, here's a really good one. Speaking of Open Cup, U.S. Soccer announced today that the U.S. Open Cup matches will be streamed on the Bleacher Report app and the Bleacher Report football YouTube channel worldwide. However, only a select number of matches will be broadcasted via their services. According to a tweet by Jeff Reuter, per USSF, teams whose games aren't selected for Bleacher Report showcasing will have the option to produce their own match broadcast/streams. Quema o no quema ka?
Oh, completely spot off about this, but there's a little bit of glimmer of hope of like a good RGV FC broadcast. But then we've seen this before, though. We have. And this was before every game was streamed off of YouTube for the US Open Cup. Mm-hmm. And that was where I remember this so well. Logging on to HoustonDynamo.com. And boom, there's their stream on their website for the US Open Cup. That is how we used to watch US Open Cup matches. And then last year was a good idea of streaming all of those games on the US Open Cup page on YouTube. Started to seem like it was more obvious and smart. Now off the Bleacher Report website, nobody wants to watch it off of Bleacher Report. Last time I checked, they failed miserably by trying to stream the Champions League. They lost those rights. Mm-hmm. Turner Sports basically owns Bleacher Report, so Turner Sports lost those rights. And went to CBS, and CBS has done a phenomenal job and are already going to do a better job. That's my point of this whole thing of it's so bad. It already sounds terrible. Logging on to Bleacher Report, their app and all that, and apparently a select number of games are only going to be shown. That is stupid. Again, it's bringing me back to 2013, 2012 vibes of watching the U.S. Open Cup off of websites of your favorite team. And that's how it's most likely going to be for most of them. And I hope RGVFC are able to do something like that or stream it off of their own YouTube channel, because that's pointless, man. It's absolutely pointless considering how well it was last year.
I am completely spot off. I am completely no quema in this topic. Lower league teams already have to pay money to even be considered playing a home match in the Open Cup. Just because you pay the money doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a home game in that round, right? Mm-hmm. So you're already putting in money you're not going to get back. Now you're expecting these teams to pay out of their own pocket to run a broadcast. How stupid must you be to think that this is a viable option for lower league soccer?
Yep.
It's ridiculous. What the hell are they thinking? Right? Because it's like these teams are already strapped for cash as it is, especially lower league 1 or USL 1, USL 2, and much less all these amateur teams that are participating in Open Cup. Where are they going to get the money to broadcast if they get a home match? Really? Right? Because at least with USL Championship, they already have a broadcast team, because technically under ESPN Plus, ESPN does not handle the broadcasting, or they handle the broadcasting, but they don't actually handle the team. They don't handle the cameras. They don't handle the announcers, the actual production. None of that is handled by ESPN. All the ESPN does is they take the broadcast and then they distribute it via ESPN Plus. But each team has their own broadcasting team. But that means under this that these teams are going to have to fork up more money to pay these people to broadcast these games if they play at home, right? So on the club side, it's a losing argument. On the fan side, what happens if the team that plays at home decides it's not economically feasible for us to broadcast the match? Are we as fans, the away fans, are we gonna be left out in the dark? Are we gonna be unable to see what's going on with our club? Are we gonna have to rely on somebody being there and posting minute by minute updates, or expecting, what's gonna happen? Let me put it to you this way: what's gonna happen with the away social media managers that are gonna do that usually do minute by minute updates and games? They have no way of seeing the broadcast they themselves, because are they really going to take the intern to go and travel over to, in this example, to South Georgia? They're not, right? So they're going to be out of the loop. We're going to be out of the loop. We're going to have to rely on Tormenta. We're going to have to rely on media members of South Georgia to keep us up to date. That is so dumb. That is not going to grow soccer. That is not going to grow the oldest soccer tournament in the United States. If people thought that the US Open Cup was irrelevant, this is proving them even more right, that even US soccer doesn't take Open Cup seriously enough to demand from their broadcasting partner to broadcast all matches. Worst part is Sacramento is also affected. Sacramento, who made the final, is affected. You're not going to see the runner-up match because of this dumb idea. It's just ridiculous, man. I don't know what the hell USSF is thinking, but am I surprised that they made this boneheaded move? No, I am not surprised that they made this stupid idea, that even this stupid idea even made it in their head. Yep. Costless Titan said it perfectly. They found another way to disrespect the Open Cup. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that's That's Bleacher Report being Bleacher Report. That's USSF being USSF. It's frustrating.
Anyway, ya me enojé, cabrones. But I think let's move on real to the end. Now we're looking ahead towards the Sunday match. Remember, it's Sunday at 7 p.m. at HEB Park. The Toros will be hosting Las Vegas Lights FC. We're in the same page. We don't know what's going on with Las Vegas Lights. We don't know, how they did, how they've been playing in their preseason matches. We do know the roster, right, which is right here, and I'll go ahead and say it. So they have goalkeepers Leo Diaz and Andres Zuluaga, defenders Zach Carroll, Alejandro Mitrano, Jordan Ayimbilia, Lucas Stauffer, and Marcelo Lage. Midfielders, Mr. Insurrection, Andrew Carlton, Asriel Gonzalez, Justin Ingram, Isa Rayan, Pablo Soares, Jacob Bushwe, Andres Jimenez Aranzazu, Tyler Bagley. Forwards, Pato Botello Faz, Eric Oteng, Sobord Etaka Preston, and Eric El Cubo Torres. Out of this list, I can only recognize just a couple of names off of that list. Obviously, Cubo Torres, Andrew Carlton, Zach Carroll, and maybe even Justin Ingram. Yeah. Of everybody else, I feel like maybe they're probably like LAFC Academy players or anything like that. I don't even know if they're actually still affiliated with LAFC. I mean, the whole off season for Las Vegas Lights was kept under wraps. Like, there was a lot of questions to be answered just with that. Are they still affiliated with LAFC? So but interesting that they just signed Cubo Torres too. So he had a horrible season with Orange County SC. His career has kind of been on the down low, but I say that, and freaking Cubo Torres scored 2 goals against us when Orange County SC visited HB Park last season. So
Yeah.
Is he going to repeat that performance? I hope not.
I can for sure tell you he will not. He's another year older. He was already not that great last season. He might have scored 2 goals against RGV FC, but well, let's be real. This is still Las Vegas Lights we're talking about. A team who plays on a baseball field that is now also played on with an XFL football team. And I don't know, they have still really bad field in general. But moving on from that, yeah, then we have another player who should technically have been locked up for a day, was not locked up. Mr. Insurrection himself, Andrew Carlton. If I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so he did do something on the 6th of January.
He didn't make it on time para acabarla. He didn't make it on time, so
that's why he got away with that. But thought about it.
Allegedly. Let's just cover our tracks legally. Allegedly,
whatever. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting team that we're playing against, but it is still Las Vegas Lights FC, a team that apparently, if you beat them 5-3, they become crybabies about it. So that's fun.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and we destroyed them at Cashman Field. That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, just the difference is now they actually have some experienced players, So, I don't know how much of an impact they're gonna have. But
one player might fake their injury 3 minutes in.
Is that a bold prediction? We haven't gotten there yet, bro.
Well, I'm not even saying a bold prediction. I'm saying that's what's going to happen. Eric Kubel-Torres is going to get injured, per se. Yeah. It's just he does not really want to play soccer, but make cash.
I don't think so. But
if he really wanted to try, he could be with an MLS team right now, having a chance.
Yeah, but who was going to sign him, dude? Who was going to sign him? He didn't have. He kind of burned the bridge at Houston Dynamo, not because he did he said something bad, no. but the fact that he didn't really put his 100% until he was in the running to be called up by the Mexican national team for what was it, the Gold Cup? I think I don't even remember what it was. And then after that, he kind of went back to being the same Kubo. The fact that he completely, literally missed a plane when the Houston Dynamo traveled, I don't remember.
Atlanta, and burned bridges with Atlanta too. So
yeah. So now he has to come back into the USL Championship. He kind of doesn't have a choice. Kind of like Alejandro Fuenmayor.
Yeah, but then again, that's my whole point. Is this man had everything going for him and decided to literally set that on fire.
If you all remember,
not literally, figuratively set it on fire, because that's not literal. He did not set Mercedes-Benz Stadium on fire or anything like that. So he decided to figuratively set everything on fire and burn that bridge.
Yeah. And if you guys remember, if you guys are Mexican soccer fans, which I know, Jacob, you're not, but just to let you know, let's let you know, Kubo Torres was actually considered Chivas' next Chicharito, and he didn't live up to those standards.
No, I remember that whole thing, though. Yeah. I do remember that. That's when when Houston got him.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. He's a really good guy. He's really cool to talk to. I've talked to him before when he was in Houston. My dad talked to him when he last season. When he played with us here. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Christian Horner said, even though I kind of disagree, Christian Horner did say about Checo, in this business, it's about the results and not if you're of a good heart. And it sucks because El Viejo Sabroso, he's a really good driver. But anyway, we're kind of veering off.
Very, very much into that. And I can tell you one thing, Christian Horner babies another driver and decided to, and will do it again this season. That is a bold prediction. Sadly, will suit one car to one person's liking instead of a 50-50 like every other team has.
I already told you that I have my reasons.
It's true.
And I will not be telling you again. He knows what he did. And that's that. And don't ever tell me to do that again.
Yeah, if I speak, I will get. If I speak more, I will get in trouble.
Okay, Mourinho. So anyway, let's finalize this show because we're almost on for 2 hours. Although technically the episode's probably going to be like an hour 20, an hour 30. Anyway, so we already talked about the lineup. We don't know much about Las Vegas Lights, unfortunately. Historically, Las Vegas Lights, especially now, they've kind of been a bottom feeder of the USL Championship. So, based on that, guys, predictions. Let's start with regular predictions first. Jacob.
Yeah, regular prediction. I think we are going to see our first clean sheet of the season, and it will be 3-0. 3-0 RGV FC.
Okay. Real quick, DJK, where did you get your Taurus jersey? Like I mentioned before at the beginning, but yes, it was gifted to me by the club. But as I also mentioned before, full transparency, that is not going to affect, and you guys probably realize now, that is not going to affect, my opinions on things that the Toros do right and the Toros do wrong, right? I appreciate the gift from RGV FC marketing department, but this is clearly not a soborno. This is I'm not. I didn't get bought by the big media. I mean, it would suck that I would settle for a jersey to sell myself to the Toros. That would be sad, honestly.
Yeah, you got to aim higher, Edson, to be a sellout. You got to aim higher. They got to pay you a lot of money. They got to pay you that cash before you sell out. Let's actually settle this right now. How much do they need to pay you for you to be a complete sellout for RGVFC and not say one thing bad about them?
As the great Gerson Echeverry once said, no comment. Anyway, okay, so you say 3-0 win, right?
Yeah, 3-1.
Costless Titan says 3-1 Toros win. DJK say 2-0 Toros win. I'm gonna go with a 2-1 victory, and both goals would be scored by Andy Cabrera. Right. Costless Titan says I'd sell out for unlimited jumbo Toros hot dogs. Are they good? I haven't tried them.
I haven't either.
Yeah, so I would sell. I would kind of settle for unlimited quesadillas, the Toros quesadillas. But I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. I'm not interested in selling out. I've got my career. I don't think they have the budget to administer my needs. Hey, you know what? Actually, no. I take that back. If I get full presidency of the club, maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'd sell out for two things, honestly, for the club. Real quick, I'd sell out pretty simple. I mean, aim high, but also pretty realistically, yeah, free food. That's always a key. Get your boys some free food, because sometimes I don't even eat before I go to the games, and then I eat like after, which is kind of smart. But that would be one. Two would be, I don't know, set me up with, I thought about this before, but now it's kind of blanking on me. Yeah, set me up with partial ownership, honestly, as well. That would be perfect. Free food and a little bit of ownership wouldn't be too bad. I wouldn't really say anything bad about the club, because I'd be making the decisions in the end. And
that's true.
Yeah. That there you go. Give me some right to make some decisions.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, give me some decisions for market. Like, let me make some decisions for marketing and free food. Man, I would sell out in a heartbeat, and then I'd be that burner account that would say some stuff like, "No, this club's doing fantastic." That's when.
Which, by the way, got deleted. So who ended up winning? We did, motherfuckers. Hold on. I forgot. I forgot the beep.
Yeah,
guys.
come on. Susan Wingway is still still CEO for a bit longer, so he can't necessarily curse on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not getting monetized at all, period. So does it even matter? You know? And at the end of the day, I prefer not to be monetized because I really don't want our viewers to have to suffer through ads. I mean, but at least it's not like in Twitch where it's like 30 seconds to a minute of unskippable ads. I think that's ridiculous.
No, you're wrong about that. It's 3 minutes. 30 seconds to 3 minutes, dude.
Oh my
Not
God,
even kidding.
that is just ridiculous. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I rarely watch Twitch streams, mostly because of that. It's just annoying, and it's usually the same commercials. It's either Red Bull or it's freaking Adobe, you know. So
one more. There's actually DoorDash. DoorDash is a pretty big Twitch sponsor.
Yeah. Well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Costas Titan says, if I win the 50-50 raffle, I will never criticize the club again. Anyway, my prediction, I said 2-1, 2 goals by Wilmer Cabrera Jr., and he shuts me up for the rest of the season. Bold prediction. The most outlandish, just for anybody that's new to the Down in the Valley channel, bold prediction is think the most outlandish thing that you can think of as a prediction for the match. Jacob.
All right. Well, the weather is kind of out, but I will actually give it this for a bold prediction just to start off a little slow. We'll save the red cards for next match. But for this match, the wind will be insane Sunday evening. We're talking 40 mph. We've had 50 mph wind before, and I've called a game through 50 mph wind, and that was insane. They couldn't even keep the ball steady for a penalty shot, and I kid you not, that was one of the most amazing things for those two teams to be at. And I've had crazy wind. Basically, that's going one way. All 3 goals would be scored in the second half because the Toros would have the wind to their backs, and they'd take a couple of. I kid you not. I've said this before, but I will say it again. One of the goals scored by Tyler Derrick because of the wind would be so crazy.
So what would be the final score?
Still, unless we hear that ESPN ding, but it is, I would still say, well, because of that, actually, 4 goals, all 4 goals scored, not by him. He doesn't get a hat trick. No, he gets one of those goals, but 3 goals scored by a defender.
You totally you stole that right out of my mind, the Tyler Derrick. That's what I was thinking.
Tyler Derrick goal, yeah. I mean, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Hey, Mike. You know what's funny? You say that about Kubo getting a red card and then the Vegas coach going crazy. Guess what? The coach for Las Vegas Lights is Chelice's son. And you know how Chalizo's always getting red carded for complaining to the ref? It doesn't sound that far-fetched.
That's not that better happen.
It's not that far-fetched.
Chalice getting a red card. It's his son. Oh my god.
Yep. And I think his son was his assistant when he was with when Chalice was in Las Vegas, and I think he still stayed around after Chalice left. Isidro Sanchez did stay around with Las Vegas as an assistant. So, yeah, but I think it'd be funny. Sloth says both prediction 5-1 Toros win. Still salty from LA Galaxy goleada LMAO. Well, I think that'd be fun to see. But here's my bold prediction.
Go for it.
Kubo nets a hat trick, and we lose 3-0. That's my bold prediction.
Yeah, that's super bold because I mean he might get sent off beforehand.
He did score a brace last season.
Oh yeah, like I said, he's gonna get injured.
So I wouldn't put it past him to freaking score a hat trick. But like I said, it's a bold prediction. Costas Titan said I was gonna say Kubo hat trick too. You see, great minds think alike, man.
He might get injured with a hamstring injury before he gets that hat trick, though.
You know what would be funny if he gets injured for doing the robot celebration.
Hey, that's why, because he's too old to be playing in the USL already. So
Yeah, I don't think he's that old. I mean, you say that, but then we have Juan David Cabezas. You know,
Oh
we
yeah,
and we had
that's right.
Vicente,
He
and
Juan
we had
David might get, yeah.
and we had Vicente Sanchez. You know, so they were old.
Well,
Like he
Sanchez is
was old.
already gone, but
Yeah, but
Juan
I
David
mean,
is back.
yeah. I mean,
So
I
yeah,
mean, I
that's a
enjoy.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, and that's the thing. That's what I'm afraid of, because you know that Juan David Cabezas is. We know that Juan David Cabezas is injury prone, so
Yeah, exactly.
it's bound to happen.
Mhm.
Costas Titan says they would be ruined if I see that robot celebration. Honestly, you know
Yeah,
what's
no, that will be. I'm yeah.
Costless Titan also says bold prediction, Cabezas yellow card. I mean, is that really a bold prediction? Because it's if
Well,
there's three things in life that are guaranteed: death, taxes, and a Juan David Cabezas or Eric Pimentel yellow card.
yeah, exactly. That's not the bold prediction would be we see Juan David Cabeza score and not get a yellow card. That's the bold prediction right there.
Yeah.
Because he's very aggressive. Pimentel is aggressive, but that's what's good about them more than anything is because they're that aggressive. Sometimes they're aggressive in the good ways. And when we see Juan David Cabeza sometimes make a challenge, it's a tactical or get that foul. It's sometimes tactical, which is good. We want to see that tactical foul if that means it's stopping a goal. I mean, the greatest example is why did the U.S. men's national team make it out of the group stage? Because of Kellyanne Acosta getting that yellow card from stopping a Wales goalie or a known Wales goal scorer score a goal. We all know who he is. I don't need to say his name.
But yeah. But guys, that is going to be it for tonight. I apologize for this episode being so long. I know technically we've been more than 2 hours live, but I appreciate every one of you for sticking around all this time. I hope you guys learned a little bit about the Toros, about the community. Like I said, we're all here to help each other. We are here to learn more about the Toros, just like you guys learn about the Toros from us. We might learn some stuff about the Toros from you guys, you know. So we appreciate all of your interaction in the chat, all the banter, all the questions, all the statements, all the hot takes. We really appreciate your feedback, your support. Just a quick reminder: if you guys missed any part of this episode, the archive is available here on YouTube, or you can also check out the podcast on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, Pocket Cast, and I think we're also on Amazon Music, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Anchor added that availability. So be sure to check us out there. Be sure to rate us. Give us, a 5-star, 4-star. If you guys think we're a 1-star podcast, yeah, you can put it, but tell us why. What we can improve. We hope to see you all on Sunday at HEB Park. And if you guys see us, don't be afraid to say hi, guys. So it'd be great to see you all supporting the Toros. Hope we can get a win. And if you guys have an opportunity before the match, go ahead and check out the Stampede tailgate, guys. They're not hard to see. They'll have the flags. They'll be barbecuing. Go ahead and say hi. Maybe you might be interested in joining the Stampede supporters group for the season. Say hi to Mike. Or Santos or any one of the other members. I will probably be there before the game as well. So you will more than likely, if you go there, you will more likely see me. I will probably not be drinking a beer with you guys because I gotta be at the press box. But at least we'll have a good time with whatever they decide to cook for that day. Jacob, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at JakeYoung456. It's where I really make my takes as best as possible. Any type of take that I have, really. So, yeah, JakeYoung456 on Twitter is where I mainly post anything. If you want to see some TikToks, I guess. What is it? The Overreacted Gamer. Stream occasionally now on the Overreacted Gamer on Twitch again. But yeah, that's about it. Mainly JakeYoung456 on Twitter though.
And I'm still hoping one day we can do some iRacing stuff together again.
Yeah. And then we'll see the thorns most likely destroy the dash this season in anything, whether it's FIFA and or
by the way,
that will happen.
By the way, we need. Do you have FIFA 23 on PC?
I will. Whenever that happens, it will. I will download it that day.
Because huge shout out to Shadow Wolf, our German Toro supporter, but he pretty much wants us to play Dash Against the Thorns in a challenge on YouTube. So when that happens, we will let you know. I'm extremely rusty. I will admit,
played a minute on FIFA 23.
So I think it's gonna be an equal match, but we've got. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. But guys, we're trying something different outside of the Toros to kind of expand our horizons. When we do some racing, I do some racing on my personal time on iRacing, trying to get used to simulation. I'm still working on the FIFA mod for the USL Championship mod for FIFA 23 PC. I haven't really touched upon that in a while, so I think it's gonna be a multi-year project. But hey, it's one man doing this without getting paid. Unlike Konami, who have been how many years since eFootball has launched, and they still haven't launched the Master League. That's just embarrassing. But but guys, thank you so much. We'll see each other on Sunday. If not, we'll see each other next Wednesday for another episode of the Down in the Valley podcast. Y'all have a good night and take care. And let's go Toros.